Damn, it's really happening.
Podcast number one.
This is podcast number one.
The next thing you know, you're going to get that Joe Rogan deal.
The Joe Rogan deal?
The Spotify.
Is at the top of the line.
$100 million.
The Joe Rogan feature, you think that's like the biggest one?
You heard that, right?
Yeah.
People got $100 million to be on Spotify.
Damn. He's moving to Texas.
Yeah.
He's tired of California. Are you tired of California?
Not me. Are we starting this?
Mm-hmm.
It's on already?
It's on. So, for those who don't know, who are you, bro?
My name is Nasty Neckface. Number one.
And what's this podcast called?
Your podcast?
Yeah.
Or the name of the episode?
The name of the podcast.
Oh shit. Fucking the Septic RV podcast.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sick. I posted something today. I was like, what should I call it? Full said, all pod, no cast.
All pod, no cast?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then I was thinking RV talk.
RV talk?
But then it sounds like I'm making a show about like van traveling. Or does it?
Yeah.
There's going to be some old dude who's like hella into RVs. Who's like
yeah,
stoked.
He's going to tune in and be like, what the fuck is this shit?
So you got this new zine, Uncut Death.
Uncut death, man. That's the purest death you can get. Is the uncut death.
You ever died before?
Have I died before?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times. Definitely shook death's hands a couple times. Big one was in Africa. That was like the closest to death I've ever been. Was in South Africa, and we were going down this fucking gnarly ass hill in this place called Valley of 1,000 Hills. You could look it up. We got this local to take us to this ramp in the middle of nowhere over there in Africa, and we're all in like a 15-passenger van. Fucking this local was telling us to go this shortcut, and he took us down this crazy ass route, and we're going down like a straight dirt hill. Like, you could look this shit up on the internet, and it's like, you know those pictures of like a mountain, and it's like got one road that goes like this, and there's like a couple houses like here and there. Mm-hmm. That's what we were on. And fucking we're going down this dirt road, and we're all drinking and shit, fucking like talking shit, like, damn, we'd be fucked if the brakes went out or whatever. And then sure enough, everyone, like our homie Nuge and P-Stone, rest in peace, was in the front seat. He didn't die in this accident, but we heard them be like, brakes are out, and they weren't like screaming like, brakes are out.
They were
like,
acting like it was all good.
It was just like, nah, I think they were like in shock. Like Nuge was in shock, like, brakes are out, dude. Like, brakes are really out.
All gas, no brakes, we just gon' keep sliding. Snakes in the grass, watch out for rats and all the feline. I cut everybody off, keep hitting decline.
And then we're going down this hill, and it starts going boom, boom, boom. The whole van just starts going like rattling, shit's flying all over the place. We're like, whoa, 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 and starts getting real, you know? Mm-hmm. And we're like, whoa, whoa, put the brakes, e-brake. And then you smell the e-brake burning, just like you smell that shit burning. And this fool Nuge, he could have took the dirt road. If we went to the right, it would have been like a hard right, and we would have basically like flipped down the fucking hill to death, just like straight down. And he took a hard left, and we ended up going through a fucking like this metal fence of this farm/house or some shit, and boom, we bust the fence open like a movie, and fucking there's like chickens and donkeys and shit running out of the way. Like, this is real, like, Africa, like, we're in it. And he heads towards this yurt, and there's a lady breastfeeding her baby in front of it. And then we're like, oh shit, everyone's like grabbing on this shit, and we're like, oh, we're dead. And this fool smashed into the yurt, half the van. He took it to his side just in case, like, he was the one to go. Like, he took it to his side, the whole fucking front of the van smashed in. The fucking lady ran out of the way just in time, and boom, we smashed into that shit. Some boards hit me in the back of the head, because we had like all our gear. We had like band equipment, skateboards, like fucking like 15 people in there. Like, it would have been like, it would have been what Jake said, a sad day for skateboarding. We would have all been smoked. And we got out. The dude who told us to go that route, his fucking knee popped out, and then P-Stone just went and popped his shit back in. Boom. Gave him a fucking beer. And then we were all just like tripping out, just like, what? Like, everyone was like, dude, we almost got smoked right now. Like,
that's crazy.
And then we ended up paying for the fucking yurt. That was like a religious yurt. They go in there and like pray and shit. and we paid for it. And it was like $300 US. Like we were like, they were like, oh, the dude came. He's like, you guys got to pay for the yurt or whatever. And we're like, how much is it? And he's like, it's $300. We're like, dude, here, fucking, that's nothing from all of us. And we paid for it, and then we got in another van, and then the first batch of people got back to the camp safe, and then the second batch, they went and picked up the second batch to go in the van, and then that brake started fucking up. Everyone jumped out. Just like, no, everyone jumped out of the fucking van and was like, dude, we're walking. Fuck this shit. And they walked for like an hour. Yeah. To get to the camp. They're like, fuck that. We're walking down this. There's like goats and shit walking next to you and shit. It was crazy. But yeah, that was a real deal looking death in the eye.
Was that your closest brush with death?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple like other things, but yeah, that one's straight up like the gnarliest one.
That is gnarly. Do you think you'd go to heaven or hell if you were to die?
I'm trying to go to hell. I'm trying to go to hell. There's probably more fun shit going on over there. All the people who party. I don't think you go to heaven for partying.
No, it's probably weak.
Straight up. You think this dude you think you'll see this dude in heaven?
What's that fool's name?
Shit, I don't know. He hasn't told me yet. But it's I think it's just like a screeching noise.
Yeah. I'm about to read the first page of your thing because I was very interested by it.
Yeah, read it.
A long time ago, a misbehaved child was locked in the basement for an entire summer. That's you? Bored out of his skull, the child stumbled across a dusty old box. Uncle Gabriel's shit, stay out, was written across it. Inside this box, heavy metal tapes, fireworks, dark fantasy magazines, and a sheet of acid. Under the spell of acid, the child began to learn how to draw his favorite images. With heavy metal ringing through his ears, a stockpile of drawings emerged that summer. These are these drawings. The child, Nasty Neckface.
Damn, that shit sounds like a movie.
Is that a true story?
Yeah.
How old were you when you found that sheet of acid?
Nah, that ain't a true story.
Oh, really?
But it sounds sick as fuck, right?
It does sound pretty sick.
That's a movie, dude. That came out of my brain.
It's amazing. I can imagine it right now as like a cartoon Genesis story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically all these drawings, all these pencil drawings, like this isn't like my normal, you guys all know my shit and you know that this isn't my normal type of artwork. But I do draw like this, and I draw like this all the time when I'm bored. When I'm like, this is doodling to me. This is like doodling to me. So like when I'm watching TV or watching some shit, I'm just drawing like fucking like trying to draw as best as I could, as like, you know, I kind of like try to like transform myself into a different character when I'm drawing this shit. Yeah. So I am thinking that I'm a kid who found acid in the basement, who's trying to redraw these Dungeons and Dragons magazines, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this shit's like not perfect, and I like how sketchy it looks, and like, you know, like I just keep imagining like a kid on acid trying to draw as sick as he can and trying to do the shading as sick as he can. So I just turn into a different character when I'm drawing this shit, and that's what's in this fucking in this zine.
So how old were you when you first started drawing these like these demonic figures?
Damn, I've been drawing like this since I can remember. Like my mom has showed me like old ass drawings from when I was a little kid, and it's the same thing. It's just like the technique is not all there. Like same thing, like monsters, heads getting cut off, fucking cut off limbs and shit, hanging babies, like the same shit that you would see. Like if you saw a toddler drawing that shit, you'd be like, whoa, this kid's fucked up. But so yeah, I've been drawing the same shit. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna start drawing all these devils and shit now. Like I've been drawing all this shit since I was a little kid. Like, except I went from colored pencils to like ink.
Yeah. Was there a time where your mom like found a drawing of yours and was like, my son is on some shit?
Hell no. No way, dude. My mom's like, she would see how psyched I was on certain things, and she's 100% supportive of everything that we do. Like she's never been like, you know, like she's never been like bummed out on anything that we do. Like one time I drew like some crazy ass shit, like I can't even remember what it was. Probably some like hanging babies and some people getting their heads cut off, whatever. And my mom's like, she'll call me up. She'll be like, you drew that? I'm like, yep. She's like, you're crazy. You know, nothing like, nothing like, oh, something's wrong with you. I got to go get you fucking some therapy or some shit. It's just been like all like, she sees a smile on my face, and she's like, let him do whatever he wants.
That's tight. When I was growing up, my best friend was like from Ethiopia, this dude Leandre, and we record all this rap music, and he would like, if he ever cursed or talked about weed, his mom would call me and be like, "You possessed my son." Like,
Oh, shit.
That fool's under the devil's juice, or whatever the fuck they call it. She acted like he was fully possessed. So I just wondered, because a lot of your drawings are like super gnarly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
at what point did you go from like drawing in a notebook to like really writing graffiti?
Man, so I guess I've been writing graffiti since I was probably like 8 years old, maybe, because my older brothers had a graffiti shop, and they had it for about, I think, almost 2 years. And my mom, she's got 5 boys. I got 4 brothers, right? And the 2 oldest brothers, they were like, I think 18 or 19 at the time, and they owned a graffiti shop. And my mom, she would drop us off there. And we'd just be like chilling, like fucking eating hot fries and just like, you know, watching these dudes. They're like drinking 40s and like doing like writing in black books and shit. And me, my brothers, and like other little friends. And it was like a daycare center. Like my mom would just drop us off and be out, and we'd be there at like a graffiti shop. It's like a gnarlier version of like being at a skate shop. And we'd go to the back. They had like legal walls and shit. And we'd find like cans on the ground. And then I remember like finding caps. And then, like, it being so hard to push down that I'd be, like, have my whole hand going like this, like, pressing down, and I'd write, like, fuck, or, like, draw, like, a fucking, like, mad face or whatever I could draw, you know? It was always, like, I think the first thing I wrote on the wall was fuck, for sure. But, so, I've always been around graffiti. Like, my brothers are, like, traditional graffiti artists. And then when I was, like, was it like freshman year of high school or some shit, I was like, man, I want to do this. I was like, I want to start writing on shit. I was like, I need to come up with a name. And then I was like, damn, I got to come up with some name that no one's ever going to ever think of or already have, because I've seen at the graffiti shop, like, some beef go down, like, hey, I already write fucking whatever. I write fucking Kool-Aid.
Wizard.
Yeah, I write Wizard.
Dragon.
Yeah, Wizard, Dragon, or Star, you know? Like, there's always, like, somebody that has the same name. So it was like, damn, I got to come up with a fucking different name that no one's ever going to think of. I was like, but what? I was like, what am I going to think of? And for some reason, my homie, this kid Freddie, his name's Freddie, but we used to call him Ring Around the Lip, because he had, like, the dirtiest face, and he would lick his lips, and the only thing clean was his lips.
You talking about acne or like actual dirt?
Dirt. I'm talking about straight dirt.
How'd he get that on his face?
From just being, dude, I was dirty too, but I wasn't licking my face. But we used to call him Ring Around the Lip, and for some reason he would always say neck. Like, we were always into like kung fu, like Van Damme, Bruce Lee, like all kinds of like blood sport, all kinds of sick ass movies. And this fool, we'd go and like beat up kids in the neighborhood and shit. And he'd be like, man, when I see that fool, I'm gonna kick him in his neck. He's like, I'm gonna punch him straight in his neck. He'd always say neck, neck, neck. First things out of his mouth was neck. Like, that's the first thing to attack. And I just die laughing, like, dude, why do you say neck? And so that word neck was always so fucking funny to me. And then yeah, I was like, that's how I got half of it, Neckface. And I was calling people like ass jacks or some shit, ass face jacks, or I forget what. And then I just combined the two, and then when the first time I wrote it, I just started laughing, and I was like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
I was like, and then for the longest time, just writing the word Neckface was like funny to me. And then I was like, and then I stopped laughing. I was like, all right, I gotta start writing some quotes under this shit to keep it going, keep it funny to me. I didn't really care what like anyone else thought. It was like trying to just make myself laugh, like just writing like beat your kids, God owes me money, like all kinds of shit just to keep the funny going or whatever. But yeah, that's I guess, I don't know, 8 years old is when I started doing graffiti, but probably freshman year of high school is when I officially started, I guess.
Right. So what are your favorite quotes of all time that you've said? I know what mine is, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Damn, dude, I got so many. It's like there's some that I completely forget about that I'm like, dude, those are good. Beat your kids is good. Beat your kids is good because I think if you discipline your kids, they will listen to you.
Yeah.
Like that timeout shit don't work. Like if my mom told me to go sit somewhere and I'm on timeout for 5 minutes, I'd be like, yeah, fucking right. I ain't gonna do that shit. But yeah, I definitely got my ass beat. So beat your kids and I mean, if I didn't get my ass beat, I don't know, I'd probably be a different dude.
What's like the worst time you ever got your ass beat by your parents?
Oh, I got hit with a high heel in the ribs and it broke skin. That was like the only thing my mom could grab. And before the longest time, I used to be like, man, fuck my mom, man. She just always hitting me. Like I'm always the one getting hit. Like all this shit out of fucking 4 brothers. Like I was the one that would always get hit. But then like when I got older, I started realizing I'm like, damn, 5 boys, and my dad works every day. Like how else is she gonna take care of us? Like imagine me as a little kid. You can't put me on timeout. Like, you got to hit my ass with something.
Me, on the other hand, I have, like, vegetarian parents, and I was an only child.
Yeah.
So they had this shit called infant massage. This is a true story. So if I was bad, instead of hitting me or even yelling at me, this happened until I was 7 years old. They'd come at me from both angles and start, like, massaging me on both sides. Like, my mom would, like, go for the head, and my dad would go for the hands until I would just pass out. What? So they were training me from, like, my infancy that if I was bad, they would just start deep tissue massaging, like, different parts of my body. It's crazy, right? So I'd be 7 and I'd be having a panic attack, you know, freaking out, being like, I don't want to go home from school today, whatever. And my dad would just come up and start, like, put his hands, like, on my forehead and start touching my shit. And my mom would start rubbing my arms from behind, and I would just curb out. And so I guess we have a pretty different perspective on that. Maybe
damn, that's why you're tweaked, huh?
That's probably why I'm tweaked.
You're, like, tweaked on the low.
Yeah.
You're, like, kind of like, you're ready to burst.
Yeah.
Me, I'm bursting out onto this paper. No.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think you would have been different if your parents did infant massage instead of being
Hell yeah, dude. I'd be a straight serial killer. For real. If I got infant massage, I'd be pissed off at people. I'd see like a spa place on the street and just probably lose it and start fucking shooting people up. Damn, you're lucky you made it out of that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Or for now.
Do you think I should beat my own kids, or should I massage them till they fall asleep?
Try both out. Beat them, massage, beat them, you know? Just hit them and massage it. Just like.
Yeah, definitely.
Give them a little
I'll try
rub.
that one. My favorite quote of yours is, gentrification means more hoes.
Oh, yeah, man. That's a new one. That's a new one. Because I just learned how to spell gentrification. Mm-hmm. But nah, that's a new one. And I was like, man, I was in New York. I was like, this shit sucks. I was like, this whole shit is gentrified, man. But there's definitely way more girls out here because of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, Whole Foods brings more chicks. Mm-hmm. So, but it sucks to say, but it's true. Gentrification means more hoes.
Yeah. Would you rather have it like how it was or now with all the hoes?
Shit, man. That's a double-edged sword right there, because I'd rather have it how it was, just because how raw everything was before. But now it's like so like, you know, I try to just look at the good side of things. You know, it sucks. Gentrification sucks when people are getting pushed out and fucking like their shit's turning into a fucking yoga mat studio or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely gonna be more chicks.
Yeah.
So
do you still like SF and Brooklyn and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but it's for me, I haven't lived in New York for 12 years, mm-hmm. and for me to be like, man, I remember this place was like this, whatever, and this is like, I'm talking about, I moved there in 2002, and in 2002, it was a different place, and people from the 90s were like, dude, this place has changed so much after 9/11, this and that.
Yeah. But
for me, going there after 9/11 and then until like fucking 10 years after, for me to be like, damn, I remember how this was, whatever. I'm like, you know, who am I to say I remember how this was? But if I'm saying how New York was before, and I can just imagine it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Do you feel like fools in the 70s would pull up in the 90s furiously?
Oh, hell yeah. Dudes getting locked up in the 70s and they fucking do their bid and come out fucking the end of the 80s and be like, what the fuck is this? The fucking cassette player? What is that? You know what I mean? Like, It's been happening since the beginning of time, but I guess that's just how it is. And when I moved to New York, it was still kind of raw, and it turned unraw, and it turned organic.
Yeah. What are your favorite cities nowadays?
My favorite cities, damn. If I had to move to a place, I'd say Australia, Sydney, Australia, or Melbourne.
Yeah, I lived in Melbourne for like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Up in Brunswick on the north side.
Yeah.
You like Sydney?
I like Sydney because I got more homies there, but Melbourne's more like city. Melbourne's like between like New York and SF.
Yeah, it reminds me of
like
like
mixed.
Vancouver, BC a lot too.
I never been there, but yeah.
Like hella condos downtown and like a huge Asian population.
Yeah. Dude, it's sick. It's sick when you go across the fucking entire globe and you find the Chinatown.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Chinatown over here? Sick. But I like Sydney, I like Melbourne, I like fucking Vietnam. Vietnam is sick.
Did you go to Saigon or were you up north?
Yeah, we went to Saigon.
This is tight.
Hamburg is fucking sick. Damn, where else?
You ever been to Albuquerque?
I have been, but not enough time to like be like hungover there.
It's just like Sydney.
Like definitely partied there. Fucking woke up and dipped.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
on tour or something. But yeah, dude, there's Vietnam is fucking really sick. Thailand's really tight too. Thailand. We went to Soy Cowboy. That's where the lady boys are.
Yeah. Did you interact with any of them?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh shit. Only one way to find out, bro.
Who knows, dude? Nah, we were in there, and then I was with Fanta. You know Fanta from my rap crew. I was with him. He was out there in Thailand. Thailand, yeah, we're talking about Thailand. He was in Thailand, and he met up. He's a New York writer, and we were in the strip club, and they're like they got numbers on them and shit, and they're like I was like, why do they got numbers on them? They're like, oh, if you want a number 5, you just say you want number 5, and then I'm like there, and I'm talking to this fool, and he's like local there, and I was like, that one right there. I was like, is that a dude? And he's like, yep. And I'm like picking out the hottest ones.
For real?
Yeah, like straight up, like trying to pick out the hottest ones. I'm like, that one's definitely a chick, dude. That's gotta be a girl. And it's like, nope. I'm like, no way. It's like, you don't know what you're looking at. It's kind of trippy. You're like in there just like, what is going on? But so we're in there, and then all of them go off stage. All the girls or girl guys go off stage, and then three ladies come out, right? One of them comes out before them, and she's got all these balloons and shit, and she's just like, whew, releases all these balloons, and they hit the ceiling. And I was like, all faded. I'm like, whose fucking birthday is it? What the fuck? And then the 3 girls come out after. They're butt naked, and they start doing like a little dance, fucking whatever. And then we're all like tripping out, like, what is this show going on? And they basically get on their back, and they're spread eagle, and then they pull out like a blow dart thing. They put it in their pussy, and they're just like, and shooting all the balloons off the fucking ceiling of the place. And everyone in there, we're like 25 deep, and we're just like, what the fuck? Just watching these girls shoot all these, and they had good accuracy too. But yeah, Thailand's tight.
How many feet are we talking about from?
Dude, we're talking. The ceilings had to be like probably like 12 feet, 12-foot ceilings.
Were you painting out there?
Yeah.
How's that?
Painting out there was pretty sick. I went out with that dude Fanta.
Yeah.
And we went painting in a bunch of spots. We hit all the tourist spots and shit. That was pretty sick. And we had like, just like auto paint, like car, like, cheap car paint or whatever. That's all we could get out there. And we had auto paint, and this fool's like, all right. He's like, we hit all the tourist spots. He's like, now we're going to go to like some real deal, like grimy, like Thailand shit. And I was like, all right, let's go. And we went, and there's like I'm not even lying. There's like old, like white dudes with like little kids.
Like the full-blown sex tourists?
Yeah.
You saw it with your own eyes?
Yeah.
That sounds gnarly as fuck.
Like,
I want to do a video about those guys.
Dude, it's there.
Yeah.
We saw it, and I was like, this, and they're just looking at me like looking at me like if I'm there for the same reason too, and I'm just like watching these dudes like
Jesus.
That strip club we went to was like nothing compared to the other shit that we went in there and like had drinks and shit, and it was like some real like dark shit going on over there.
How young are you talking about?
Fuck, I don't know, probably like 15 or some shit. I don't know. They were young.
And the dudes are like 70 plus?
Yeah. Like old white dudes. And
I think some of them like move there for that purpose.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. They're definitely out there doing some dirt, man. But we did some tags out there, so like I don't know, some sketchy like sex tourist dude's gonna see me up in the gnarly part of Thailand.
Did you meet that dude like 60 out there or whatever?
Nah.
He's just like some Australian dude who lives out there, and he's like a tagger, but he's married to like the Kim Kardashian of Vietnam.
Oh, he came up.
She's like the top follower, like Instagram influencer, like the equivalent of, I don't even know. Maybe not Kim Kardashian, because she's more like social media popping, but like one of these influencer girls. Yeah. And they just like have this sick ass tattoo studio out there.
Sick.
So that's a cool little like world they've started.
Yeah, dude. Some people go to fucking foreign places and they come up big time.
Yeah, it's
because
crazy.
They're foreign.
For sure.
And then you just fucking post up. That happened to me a bunch of times in Australia. Just like, you know, I have keys to this chick's apartment, and like
to this day.
No, not to this day. But like, you go out there and they're like, you came all the way from New York, and they're like, you know, you get treated like this is like before the internet was popping off or whatever, you know, and like Instagram and all that. So you go out there and they're like, what? Like fresh meat, you know what I mean? And and they'll be like, yeah. Here's my keys. Fucking post up as long as you want. And you're like, sick.
That happened to you?
Yeah, hell
sick.
Yeah. So a couple times, dude. Just like, I lived in King's Cross. I lived in Bondi, Surrey Hills, all over.
So you fuck with Australia, super heavy.
Oh, dude, I lived in Australia from 2004 till 2008, like 4 or 5 months at a time. Because in New York, I would do all of New York, and then when it turned winter in New York, you go to Australia, and it's summertime there. Active. So I was on permanent summer from 2004 till 2008. Every time it got cold in New York, I dipped. I would hit like a gallery up or some shit and be like, hey, you guys want a show? Or just swindle some kind of free ticket, you know? Mm-hmm. They'd buy my ticket. I'd make my art, have a show. It does good. It doesn't, whatever. And they're like, oh, when do you want a return flight? I'm like, 4 months from now? They're like, what? You sure? I'm like, yep. And then I just post up, dude, and I'll just be out there skating. I got a bunch of homies out there and just like straight local out there.
Do you like Kohl's or Woolies better?
Kohl's or Woolies?
Yeah.
That's the fucking the beer stores?
No, that's like their two supermarkets.
Yeah. I like Kohl's because that's the one we lived by.
Kohl's is the one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you weren't in Melbourne more time. That place is fucking sick.
Dude, I did go to Melbourne a bunch because Dustin used to live there. Dustin Dolan. He used to live there. And that's where I first started drinking, was in Melbourne.
You didn't drink until then?
No, I didn't drink until I was 21.
Damn.
Not even on some like, I'm not of age yet. It just like never interested me or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was in Australia for hella long, and this fool's partying. Everyone's fucking having a good time. And then I was like, I'm going to just try this shit. I was like, I'm going to try it. If I don't like it, I'm over it or whatever, right? Mm. And then, so we're at this place called the Ding Dong Lounge, and I go to the bartender, and I'm like, I'll have what he's having. And Dustin's like gnarly drinker, or he was like drinking gnarly shit at the time, mm-hmm. and he poured me a fucking Jaeger on the rocks.
That was your first drink?
First drink. Jägermeister on the rocks, dude. And so I drink this thing, I just fucking chug it, and I'm like, I don't know any better. I'm like, I'm not even drunk yet.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm not even, like, wasted. Like, this shit didn't even work. I'm like, give me another one. Mm-hmm. I sculled, like, 4 of them. Like, just not even sipping on them. Just, like, crushed them, right?
So you were wasted, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Until the 4th, like, midway through the 4th one, I was like, oh, shit. It all hit me at once. My dumb ass thought, like, as soon as it touched my lips, I was going to be wasted. But it took, like, fucking 3 drinks to get drunk. And I was like, oh. And then I started, like, we hit the town, dude. It was like one of the funnest nights drinking ever. Like, just went to all these different bars, different shows and shit, like mosh pits and fucking, I had paint on me. I was climbing on crazy ass shit, writing on everything. And I was like, looks like I'm not drinking. Like, after, like, looks like I'm not drinking or whatever. Like, I was like, it's on. And then it was fucking party time.
What's like your favorite drink to this day?
My favorite drink to this day is probably Jim Beam.
Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. Jim Beam's just fucking pretty grimy.
Yeah. I like the Jameson and then like Rainier combo.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah.
some like up north shit. No,
That's where I'm from, Seattle.
yeah.
That's what my dad drinks every day. He's like a bartender up there. So he put me on when I was like, I guess like 20, 22. Because I used to drink dumb shit. Like I would always get like tequila pineapples.
Yeah.
Just like drinks that like homegirls would ask me to buy.
Oh yeah, dude, tequila pineapple, that gives you straight heartburn.
Yeah.
Straight up. I used to drink tequila pineapple with a splash of soda, and then I ditched the pineapple, and then it was tequila soda, and then I was drinking tequila soda forever. Jameson on the rocks, Jameson Coke, Jack and Coke, Jaeger and Coke, all kinds of shit.
I see the theme, bro.
I got a whole book full of like my drinking phases.
What was your gnarliest drinking phase? Do you have like a Four Loko phase?
Nah, no Four Locos, dude. Gnarliest drinking phase. Damn, I guess the starter kit. Starter kit it's called a starter kit because it'd just be a good way to like start your night. And a starter kit is you get any cheap vodka, Popov or whatever, some shit you can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Bottle's got to be plastic, and then you get any Gatorade flavor. And then you put some ice on it, dump the whole fucking bottle of vodka into the Gatorade. You can't even taste the vodka, it just tastes like Gatorade. And then off you go.
There it is.
Turn me on, turn me loose.
So as far as like gnarly ass road stories, when you think of your quintessential like fucked up travel road story, what comes to mind?
Damn, dude, that's a hard one because we've been on the road so many times and so much gnarly shit has happened on the road. I could give you some highlights of certain ones.
Yeah, well, a better question is like if you were to make a cartoon about like a visually comical like road experience, what would that be?
Damn, any of these skate rock stories. Skate rock is we get like three bands that are everyone's a musician and also everyone's a skater, and we go to China. We're in China and we go to every city in China. Boom, boom, boom. We play a show every night and we're rolling like 25, 27 deep, like hella dudes. And we play a show, any show we play, any venue we go to, it's like 3 people on stage and then the rest of the crew is the crowd, you know? So every show is like packed and it's all homies. And then there's also like all the people who are like fans of like the skating and the bands and shit. And yeah, we just go across country and hit that's how we ended up in South Africa, Mexico, fucking China. Like those skate rocks are gnarly, dude. Like they're some of the gnarliest trips I've ever been on. When you're rolling 27 deep, there ain't too much shit like authorities could do to you. They can't be like, hey, get out of here, and be like, tell fucking all 27 of us.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't going nowhere.
Can you think of a particular story like along that road that was like super gnarly one to tell?
China, dude. China, when we were in China, I can't think of the place, the city we were in, but we were in China and we were playing this venue, and Jake Phelps, rest in peace, was what was he doing? He was talking shit to the band that was playing. So there was like these bands playing before us, and I wasn't playing. I don't play instruments, but I was there. But the band's playing. Jake's talking shit like he does. He normally just talks shit, and these dudes got all butt hurt. And it's like, you never had a heckler in the crowd before, and this dude's like 100 years old, and you're letting him get on your nerves. And the band gets pissed off. Jake goes outside. I'm outside, like drinking with Jake on the curb, and then and 3 Chinese dudes come up to us as me and Jake are sitting there, and the dudes got bottles in their hands. They got Tsingtaos in their hands. Like Tsingtao, if you know that bottle, it's like a thick ass bottle. Like you drop that thing, it's not gonna break. And these dudes got bottles in their hands, and they're like trying to say something to Jake, and we're sitting down, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And I fucking get up because Jake's old. I think he's like 52 at the time, or who knows what the fuck. But I get up in front of these 3 dudes, and I'm like, Jake, go inside. I'm like, go inside. And then like a fight starts going on inside. And then that fight comes outside, and then Jake runs inside, and everyone, there's like one of our bands is playing in there, And Jake's like, cut it. He's like, everyone outside now. Like, it was them against us. And we're like 30 deep or whatever, right? It's us against all of them. And then it's just like a full-on brawl erupts, like gnarly. Like, this is straight out of the movies type shit. Like, the ground is gravel. Like, all you hear is rock on, and just like fools yelling in Chinese. And then you look over, you glance, and you see Sammy Baca just fucking pow, 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 punching this dude in the face. Like, it was a full-on brawl. Like, a funny thing about Baca is he was about to have his first kid, and he's running out to go get into this fight. And this fool Kenny Anderson, he's like, whoa, chill, Baca, you're about to have a kid. He's like, he ain't born yet. He's like, boom, and he runs out, and he's like, boom, beating the shit out of all these fools. My homie Pat Lana, fucking, he was inside when Jake said, everyone out, and there was a fight going on stage. And I'm in there for this part. Fight going on stage, and then fucking someone's getting beat up, and then I see Pat on the balcony up top, right? And this fool jumps from the top balcony onto this dude, like a floor down. He jumps, boom, lands on the guy. They both get up. He goes, bow, knocks this dude out on stage. And then we run outside, and then the fight's going on out there. And what else is happening? Fucking so much shit is going down. And then I'm like amazed, dude. I'm watching this shit like from afar. I'm like, holy shit. And then like the dudes that I stood up in front of, like to block them from beating up Jake or whatever, I see those dudes coming towards me. And then my role at the on Skate Rock was to do like pyrotechnics, and I'd have spray paint on me just because I was painting, and I'd go on stage and I'd do like flamethrower, right?
Right.
So I had paint in my pocket, and I see these dudes coming towards me, and they're like saying some shit all pissed off, like coming at me, and I'm like, oh hell no. So they're coming at me quick, right? They were about to whoop my ass, and I pull out the can of spray paint, and I have the lighter, and I'm like, and I start flamethrowing these fools, and I'm like shooting a flamethrower at their face, and they're like, ah, or whatever, and then someone looks at me, he's like, do it again, like, because it was pitch black, and they couldn't see it, and the flamethrower was the only thing, like, that was lighting the way. So I go into this huge brawl, 30 on fucking 100 or whatever, right? And I'm in there, and I'm flamethrowing fools, like, straight out of a movie, dude. I pulled out a flamethrower. I'm like lighting the way and shit. And everyone's like, imagine that you're in a big ass brawl and a flamethrower comes out.
Yeah.
Like, that's what was going on. And then it was like, the whole fight happened. Fools got smoked. Like, we whooped their asses. Like, it was no problem. Like, Figgy got either he fell and got cut, or dude slashed him with a knife, but he got a fucking cut from like his wrist to his elbow. It was like 14 staples or some shit. They tied him up. It looked like firecrackers. He has a big ass scar. It was like probably one of them Sing Tao bottles, but they were throwing bottles and shit. And then we got into our van. Everyone's like, get in the van. We get in the van, and we're leaving. And we're driving past them, and it looked like a fucking like war movie where everyone's laid out, just like, and their girlfriends are like holding their heads up and like patting their blood and shit, and they're just like towels on their face and shit, and we're passing by them like, holy shit, that just happened. Like, it was crazy, dude. Trying to put up a good fight.
So that fight started because Jake was dissing the band that was playing?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Pretty much.
How many fights do you think you've been in life, if you could put a number on it?
Shit, like one-on-one fights, not many, but like crew fights like that,
yeah,
fuck, I can't even count, dude. There was like some shit went down in fucking in Mississippi. That was a gnarly one.
Did you fight some farm boys out there? Because those fools have big ass hands,
dude. There was some shit going on. I can't even remember. I was hammered, but I remember they came in. They thought we stole a wedding ring. Somebody lost their ring during one of the mosh pits or some shit, and it was like all over the news, like skaters came and stole a ring, and we're like, what the fuck? Why do we want a ring? Like, got so much other shit to steal. But I remember fools coming in, like big ass dudes coming into our room and yelling at us, and then I look up like from a daze, and fucking this fool Rainey Rainey's a short guy, and this dude was huge. And Rainey's on this dude like a koala and just punching him in the face. He's like, actually, like, the dude's walking around with this dude on him, and he's just going, pow, 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 hitting him in the face. And we got the fuck out of Mississippi.
It's a bad place to get stuck.
Yeah,
I've
dude,
been there
we were
before.
like, we're out of here, dude.
Yeah.
This place is not, they fucking hang people here. We're gone.
Did you paint out there?
No, I don't think so. But everywhere I've been to, I've definitely taken like marker tags, paint tags. But I've never been to, I've never not rode on shit when I've been to like places like that.
What spot do you feel like you're most proud of?
Shit, most proud of a spot that I painted?
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I guess I'm proud of the ones that have been there forever.
What's your like longest running fill-in right now?
Fuck, dude, that's hard. That's hard. I got a fill-in in fucking Fort Greene from 2003. That's up top on these basketball courts. It's like right by where fucking where Biggie grew up, and it's in the Pratt area. You know, Pratt School.
Yeah, in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, it's in that area, and that shit's been there from 2003. That's a good one. There's some cutty-ass tags from 2002 that are, like, deep in Bushwick, like Red Hook, like, you know, people are just starting to find these tags because it's you know, Williamsburg is expanding to, like, you know, all of Brooklyn is going to be Williamsburg pretty much, you know? They're like, this is East Williamsburg or some shit. It's like, no, that's Bushwick, dude. That's fucking, they just call it Williamsburg because it's like the, you know, gentrification or whatever. But people are starting to find these tags that, because we would go to like cutty parts of Brooklyn and do shit. And then people, like, gentrification is getting spread out so much over there that people are like, what? There's a Neckface out here from fucking 2002, 2003 or some shit. But I don't know. I always try to do like tags in like the most cuttiest places. And then when somebody, like, even if one person sees it, I'm always super psyched on that.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm like, what were you doing there? You know, like if someone saw one of those tags in the sex tourist area of fucking Thailand, I'd be like,
behind the red window, you know?
What are you doing over there?
On like a pillow behind a window.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
I know why I was.
Job in here.
I know why I was there. I don't know what you were doing.
Who do you think has the most tags?
Ever?
Yeah.
Shit. MQ.
Yeah.
Probably. That fool just empties markers.
Yeah. I've seen more Malvo than anything else on my travels.
Oh yeah, in your zone.
Yeah.
He's everywhere though.
Yeah, everywhere.
He's everywhere. But who else, dude? Who else? J.A. Dessa. I don't know who has the most tags.
Shit, I think you just kind of covered it right there.
Yeah.
You feel like Instagram has been like good or bad for just like graffiti in general?
Ooh. The one thing it's good for is documenting. It's, you know, I did some shit in SF recently with Katsu.
Yeah.
And that shit's gone the next day. But you put a video up and thousands of people see it, you know?
Yeah, I saw the video of you in like Katsu's studio.
Yeah.
Like doing a tag.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, man. My whole shit is like, I don't know, dude. There's some people that are like really popular on Instagram, but I've never seen their shit on the streets.
For real?
Yeah, and it's like my whole thing is like, you know, I guess I'm old school, but it's like you got to get your points on the streets, and then fucking I'll look at your little Instagram, your hashtag.
Yeah, for sure.
But nah, I think it's good just for like documenting and you know showing your spots, I guess. But I don't know. There's some fools that just go to an alleyway and do some shit and put it up, and they're like, "What? No way!" And it's like, dude, nobody's seen that. Not one human person saw that. It's only been viewed like on your phone.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. It's you know, people think it's all like it's fun and games until you get caught. You know, they're like, oh, I want to do that. I want to fucking write on some shit. Oh, this guy just wrote on some shit and now he's fucking blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, go do it. Go for it. Help yourself.
Yeah.
You go out and get bagged and you're like, oh, this is real. I'm sleeping on a roll of toilet paper in the fucking jail cell, you know, and I got a felony charge. It's like, yeah, get out there and get some if you want, but be careful.
I'm fighting one right now, man.
Yeah, I just beat one.
Yeah.
Yep. I just paid my final fee.
Like restitution fee or court fee?
Yeah, restitution fee. Yeah. Exactly. But it was like it was $2,000 to get bailed out, which is some bitch shit to get bailed out. But I had the money and I was like, I am not staying in here, dude. There's some white dude rapping in there.
Oh God, where was this?
This is here in LA.
LA County Jail?
Yeah. There's a white dude rapping. He's like, bro, I rap. He's like, I got wrapped up on some shit. He's
out of
like,
nowhere, he told you that?
He's like, I'm a rapper. No, I'm sitting there listening to these fucking dudes talk. He's like, I rap. And he's like, let's hear something in there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man. I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, first I got to take a shit. I took a shit in front of everyone. Everyone was looking at me. I was like, you know, I've been there a handful of times where I was like, no shame, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like, I got to take a shit. I'm taking a shit in jail. And then this is the second time this has happened to me, but I had to wake the dude up to get the toilet paper from under his head. He was using it as a pillow, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey. I'm like, let me get that. And then he's like, oh, like Mexican dude or whatever. Just pull off a bunch of sheets and give it back to him and go take a shit and fucking lay back down after. But yeah, I had the money. I was like, fuck this. I got wrapped on a Friday. I was like, not going to get out till Monday. Who knows when on Monday? And I was like, dude, I am not staying here the weekend. I was like, if I didn't have money, I would have stayed in there. It would have been no problem. But I was like, I'm out of here, dude. I had my roommate bail me out, paid him the fucking 2 G's. That's a $20,000 bail. And then paid for the lawyer. Lawyer was $5,000. Got hooked up with the lawyer. He got the felony dropped to a misdemeanor. Misdemeanor dropped to a fucking restitution ticket, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's what is that? $7,425 later.
For restitution?
I got nothing. No, just total.
Okay.
Like so getting bailed out, lawyer, and the fucking
the fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bail was like $1,000. I was in South Dakota, and it's like lawyer was like $5,000. The restitution's gonna be $10,000. So I'm gonna be $16,000 down.
Damn.
Yeah.
Or just never go there again.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, like, if I have a show on TV, I probably can't be like, you know, because it's an extraditable state. So
wow.
I might be at the fucking Oscars or the Emmys or something.
Wow.
South Dakota police departments are gonna fucking tackle me from behind.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
The price of being on TV.
Yeah, dude.
I might have to clear up some of my shit then.
I was gonna say I need a vandal
Wait,
lawyer.
what's the worst jail story?
Yeah.
I got it. I gotta take a piss first.
Yeah, dude. You can just piss outside if you want, Doug.
Yeah. We gotta film it though.
Should we pretend to have an advertiser? I don't know. Who would we? So what happened?
All right. First, I gotta tell you about when I was locked up here. This is how out of it one of the dudes was in there. He fucking we got our papers and it said our bail on there, and then my shit was $20,000, and then this dude, everyone's reading their shit, and then this dude was so burnt, he's like, fuck, fool. He's like, my shit's only $500, and everyone's like, what? Looking at him like $500.
Yeah.
And then one of the homies grabs his shit and he looks at it, he's like, fool, that says $50,000. I was like, oh my God, this dude is doomed. Can't even read the fucking zeros.
What do you have to do to get a $50K bail?
I have no idea, dude.
I
asked no questions, but he had face tattoos and he was on one. But all right, so gnarliest jail story. I've told this a couple times, but it's good every time. Dade County, Miami. Dade County, Miami is the gnarliest situation I've ever been in ever, dude. It was gnarly. And so basically we're faded running around for Art Basel or whatever, and fuck Art Basel. Every time I go there I go to jail. So we're running around doing bad shit. Like we're being bad. Like doing like throwing shit at cars. Like just hammered doing shit. We had like hella fireworks. We're shooting off fireworks in the middle of like what's the street on the beach, Ocean Ave or whatever?
Miami Beach Street.
The closest to the water.
Yeah. Were you at Max Club Deuce?
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah.
Tight.
The Deuce. I love the Deuce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Deuce definitely had something to do with this too, probably, because we were definitely there for sure. But we're lighting off like cakes, like firework boxes, like in the middle of the street. Like, we should have gone to jail like probably like 10 times before we actually did. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, we have a huge like store display bottle of fucking Grey Goose, like a big ass one like this,
like a half gal.
I think.
Yeah.
There's a big ass one like this, like. And we're drinking this thing, and we're like, oh, this looks like a good spot to paint. And we don't even have paint markers on us, nothing, right? And we go to this, we jump this fence of this, like, abandoned, like, building or house or mansion, who knows what, right? And we're in there, and we're looking around, and we're like, oh, yeah, let's fucking go get paint, and we'll paint or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then before we could come back, there's fucking cops jumping over, guns drawn. And there, I see, like, my homies getting wrapped up, like, over there, like, they're getting bagged and shit. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I was, like, already close to the fence, like, getting ready to leave. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking dark as hell. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm wearing all black, of course. And I go and I hide. Here's the fence. And I hide in the crevice of the, there was, like, a little ditch or whatever. And I hide in the corner of the fence and the ditch. Right? And then I'm seeing these fools getting bagged and they're getting like thrown back over the fence and shit. And I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, I'm about to get out. I'm about to escape this, right? And the fucking cop climbs directly over me, like steps over me, doesn't see me, right? And he's on the fence and he's climbing back over the fence to leave. And he looks down and he's like, sees me, you know, I'm like this, like fucking like curled up, and he sees me like right. I was like so close to getting away.
You almost made it.
Yeah, this fool sees me. He's like, "You motherfucker!" And he just drops onto his knee, like knees me. Wow, like just lands on me on his knee, and fucking I get bagged. We all go in, and we're in Dade County, and it's just like gnarly.
Yeah,
it is the gnarliest place ever. Like fools are wilding out in there. Like it was just lawless in there.
I'm trying to get a better picture. Like, what was happening? Like, what did you see when you walked into the holding cell?
I don't know. It was just like it was like crazy in there. But then there was like this kid in there who got bagged for like having coke on him or some shit. This little white kid, and this kid is in there and he's fucking crying. He's like bawling, crying. Like
it's like sob mode.
He's like like that and shit. And I was like. Me and my homies, I'm in there with 3 homies, and we're just like, oh my God, dude, the one place you're not supposed to cry is here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't you watch any movies, dude? Like, this is not the place. Like, man up.
You're supposed to punch the first dude, right?
Straight, something like that. Do something, dude. Try to look as sketchy as possible or something, but this dude's crying like a girl, just like, ooh, ooh. And then there's like huge ass dudes going up to him like, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. Like, shut up. Like, there's motherfuckers in here that got a reason to cry. Quit crying, bitch. Like, all this shit. And we're like, holy shit. Like, thank God this fucking dude's in here because he's taking all the heat off of us. You know what I mean? And then also there's another dude. There's another, like, a big white guy. He looked like a child molester. He had these little ass glasses. His eyes are super close. And he's sitting the furthest back. And he's just staring like this. He's just staring into nothing. And we're like, nobody even talked to that dude. Like, that dude looks, he did something, right? And then, but yeah, so this dude's crying and shit. He's like, ah. And then he's like, they're like, shut the fuck up. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, my mom's going to get me out of here.
He actually said that out loud?
Yes.
Wow.
And then the dudes are like, motherfuckers in here don't have moms, bitch. He's like, shut the fuck. They're spitting on him and shit. And we're like, holy shit. Like, this dude's getting, like, fucked with gnarly. And then they bring out the fucking, the Kool-Aid. They call it Kool-Aid, the Jim Jones. It's just colored water. And they bring it out in one of those fucking Gatorade tanks or whatever. And they bring it to your cell. And we had felony trespassing charge because trespassing is a felony out there, I guess. But we had felony trespassing, and they gave it to the misdemeanor cell first. Like, misdemeanor dudes are over here, and then felons are over here. Mm-hmm. And that's why that fucking dude was just like staring into who knows what, that white dude.
He was in the felony tank?
Yeah,
he must have done something fucked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why nobody was fucking with him. And he just like had these like little ass like Incredible Hulk shorts. And he's just like, just looking into nothing. And we're like, oh, what did that dude do? But, so they're like, fuck that. They're like, felons get the Jim Jones first. Felons get the Jim Jones first. We did a gnarlier crime. Like, why'd they get in the Kool-Aid first? Or some shit because they gave it to misdemeanors. And then time and time goes by. They gave us like some fucking bologna sandwiches. I only eat the bologna. And then I'm making like faces out of the bread and shit. Like just like killing time or whatever. Like making like little bread sculptures and shit. And the whole time this fool's getting like bitched out at or whatever. And they end up calling him Prince. And then everything he would say was wrong. They'd be like, here's your food. And he's like, oh, I'm not eating that. Like, fucking, like, it has cheese or some shit. Like, saying shit like that. And dudes are like, what the fuck you say, motherfucker? Like, just shit. He was blowing it so hard, you know?
Was he lactose intolerant or was he just too nervous to eat?
Who knows, dude? Probably lactose. But he was like, everything he said was wrong. You know what I mean? He'd be like, I'm getting bailed out. And they'd be like, oh, must be nice, motherfucker, or some shit. That's like, dude, just shut up. But they ended up calling him Prince. They called him Prince the whole time. They're like, shut the fuck up, Prince. They're like, they would be pissed off just walking and just spit on him. Just spit on his face. And he was like, whatever. And then what else happened? So we got thrown into like general population with all these fools, and they're watching like the Miami U game in there. And some fool's in there. He's like, that's my cousin. He's fucking sick as fuck. And then we're watching this football game, black and white TV. Mm-hmm. And in order to change the channel, the TV's like in the hallway. And they give you a stick. And to change the channel, you put the stick through the bars to change the channel or some shit. And they're like, there's no sound or whatever. But they were watching the football game. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to sleep. And I go and find a bunk bed. We got uniforms and shit. Like, we were in there to stay. Like, and I go to find a bunk bed, and I go sit down on this bunk bed, and this dude comes up to me. He's like, hey, dog. He's like, you can't sleep there. I'm like, oh, all right. And he's like, that's my bed. And I'm like, all right. And then I was like, is anyone sleeping under it? He's like, nah, that's all you. I was like, all right. So I go under this dude's bunk bed, and it's like my face is like an inch from this dude's back or whatever, you know, but it was the only place to sleep. Yeah. And I'm like laying under this bunk bed. And then earlier in the day, no, that's when we got bagged in Boston. That's not true. But our friend's aunt came and bailed us out. Like, ended up getting us out of there. Like, but we were in there like getting ready to like stay for who knows how long. But they were like called our names up, and we were like, oh shit, we're out of here. And we all got let out at separate times. And it was so gnarly that when I got let out, I didn't know where I was at. I just ran in one direction. I got out and I looked to the left, looked to the right, and I was like, I'm running to the right. And I just ran as far as I could away from that place. I got my shit and just took off running. And then finally, when I ran out of breath, I was like, all right, let me figure out where I'm at. And then I figured out where I was at, went back to the fucking house that we were staying at, changed my shirt, got out of my jail clothes, and then I went to like the liquor store and I bought like all this Pro Club shit, like just like, you know, like just got out of my jail clothes, bought Pro Club,
like thick white tees.
Yeah, white tees and like new shorts and shit. And then I went to the party that was going on or whatever. And then I was at the party and I was like, I just got out. And everyone was like, what? No way. And then Dade County was the gnarliest.
That sounds gnarly.
Really gnarly.
You know that feeling when you get out of jail and you're like, I can't believe that people think this could rehabilitate someone?
Oh, man.
Like, it just, how horrible the experience is. Like, it's just such a terrible experience to be in jail. And, like, the only opportunity for you in there is, like, criminal networking. Like, you're more likely to meet some sketchy fool who would, like, give you work outside of jail than you are to ever, like, reflect on what you did.
Yeah.